I'm going to call the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting to order. Can I start with a roll call?
Alberto Paratori.
Norma Drummond.
Art Mahoney.
We do have a quorum. I am expecting another member, but he warned us he's going to probably be about 10 minutes late. So can I ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. All right, our apologies for being here. Apparently it's primary day, so Town Hall and the Fire District Headquarters are both being used as voting places. So we are relegated to the community center. We have to deal with the video system and the recording. Our meetings do get recorded so that we get minutes to reflect what's going on. If there is, we're going to let you stand at the microphone. There's a recorder there, so if that picks you up and works, it should be okay. If nobody can hear you, then I have a microphone that will hand out to people who want to come up and make comments. The way our meeting works is we first will do our administrative business, approving minutes, things of that sort, and then we'll deal with applications, public hearings for applications that we've already seen. So those are applications that this board has already reviewed, and now we just want to hear from neighbors who might raise concerns or bring things to our attention that we should be aware of before we make our decision. The second part of our meeting reviews is our generally new applications. Those are generally the applications that we're seeing for the first time. So it gives the board a chance to see and ask any questions that we have related to what the applicants are actually asking for, because remember, everybody that's here is asking for something that's not allowed by code. And so this board has to consider whether there is something unique or special about your property or the circumstances that should make us consider allowing this on your property. But your neighbors do have a right to comment and raise any concerns that they might be aware of. There are two items on our agenda that we will not be hearing, items number 3 and items number 7. Those will both be pushed to the July meeting. And we have, our next two meetings are going to be Tuesday, July 23rd and Tuesday, August 27th. And we have one set of meeting minutes to approve, which was our minutes from the May 28th meeting. I know I made just a handful of amendments to it when I reviewed them. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so we're going to just jump right into things. Item number 1 is an adjourned public hearing, Appeal 4103, Gerard James, 22 Sunset Boulevard, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 450 square foot size variance for a proposed 30-foot by 40-foot or 1,200 square foot detached garage, a 17-foot side yard, and a 20-foot front yard variance for an existing 210 square foot concrete patio pursuant to Section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance and the Schedule of Bulk Regulations. The footprint of the existing house is 1,044 square feet. Do I have a motion to reconvene the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Good evening.
Good evening.
So just to reestablish or make sure everything's on the record, the board had first saw you 2 months ago.
Yes.
We reviewed your application. You were at that time requesting a garage of 30 feet by 50 feet,
yes,
because you brought to our attention you have a lot of, number one, there's multiple people living at your residence, so you have multiple adults with cars. You also have a lot of other equipment, some of it that's in a shed that you want to be able to take down, and just things that really are better suited to being
yes,
put in storage, so they, number one, they're protected, and two, they don't, make a mess of your yard, kind of thing. When we had the public last month, one of your neighbors, not your immediate neighbor, one of your neighbors raised concern that the size of the garage, proposed garage, was large. And we asked your consideration about shrinking the size of it. So instead of 30 by 50, you've now come back with a proposal for 30 by 40.
yes.
So you've shrunk it considerably. Actually, instead of 1,500 feet, it's now 1,200 square feet. And we did talk about the fact that there is screening. You actually brought us a number of pictures for us to be able to see that there are pine trees there. So there is, trees that don't lose their leaves. So there is cover there. Although the neighbors, and whether it's visible from the road or there are valid concerns about raising the concerns, especially because he brought it to our attention that the existing structure that used to be a garage that's now a residence,
yes,
does not have the same siding. So the existing structures on your property don't match, but you brought it to our attention that you're going to be correcting that soon anyway.
It's going to be the same color. It's just one is wood, one is vinyl.
Yeah, and that this new garage will match the house.
Match the main house.
Yes, so,
And
you
also,
know.
I have to apologize to the board and to
Yeah.
Mr. Gilmartin, my neighbor. I thought he went to the town to try to stop me from doing the accessory unit.
Yeah.
I spoke with him, and he just went to the town to inquire on what I was doing.
Okay. Okay, well, you have everything is in place for the accessory unit, so that's not before us. So again, the code allows for a garage, a detached garage that is 60% of the footprint of your house, which is why we list the 1,044 square feet or 750 square feet, whichever is larger. In this case, the footprint is smaller than the 750, so what we need is the extra 450 to get to the 1,200 square feet that you're requesting. So any other questions or comments from board members? I just want to make sure we get everything on the record that needs to be on there.
Good.
So is there anyone here who wishes to speak for or against the request from Gerard James, 22 Sunset Boulevard, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 450 square foot variance for a proposed 30-foot by 40-foot garage, detached garage, a 17-foot side yard and 20-foot front yard variance for an existing 210 square foot concrete patio? Let me just mention, the concrete patio used to be a basketball court or something, yeah, so it's really, we don't want you to have to rip up the concrete.
We just want to use it as like a parking spot.
Right, exactly. So is there anyone who wishes to comment? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Bill number 4103, applicant Gerard James, project of 450 square foot size, excuse me, variance from the requirements of section 194-107 of the town code for a proposed 30 by 40 feet, 1,200 square feet detached garage and a 20-foot front line and 17-foot sideline variance for a concrete pad. The address is 22 Sunset Boulevard, Hopewell Junction, District R1. Resolution offered by myself, Alberto Paratore, whereas the applicant has various vehicles and machinery he wishes to store indoors in a tidy manner, and whereas section 194-107C of the town code reads in part that D, detached garages must be permanent and not a fabric covered structure and may in no event exceed 750 square feet or 60% of the square footage of the footprint of the principal structure, whichever is greater in size and 1.5 stories or 25 feet in height. And whereas the footprint of the existing house is 1,044 square feet, and whereas therefore 750 square feet is the largest and detached garage could be without a variance, and whereas the applicant has no neighbor behind his house and has reduced the size of the garage after concerns raised by a neighbor down the street, whereas this is a type 2 action under SECRA and no further review is required, and whereas the legal notice has published in the Southern Dutchess News on May 22nd, 2024, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on May 28, 2024 and continued on June 25, 2024, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that the granting of the variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the community of the property or remain residential in nature. The desired result cannot be achieved by some other means due to the existing structures at the property. The variance could be deemed substantial, but the applicant has multiple vehicles and equipment that would keep the property neater if they were in the garage. The variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the request by Gerard James for a 450 square foot size variance from the requirements of section 194-107 of the town code for a proposed 30 by 40 feet, 1,200 square foot detached garage and a 17-foot side yard and 20-foot front yard variance for an existing concrete pad. Further, resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant owner.
Second.
Second.
Votes as follows: Alberto,
Aye.
Art,
Aye.
and myself, aye. So your motion carries. You're all set now. You just deal with the building department. Sorry, building department's over this way.
Thank you.
I'm used to them sitting over there. All right. Item number 1, done.
What do I have to do now? Get something in the mail?
All right, item number 2, Appeal 4101, Gabrielle Rose, LTD, Flory, Jamie Flory, 1997 Route 52, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 76-foot front yard, 3-foot side yard variance for a proposed vacuum station, 67-foot front yard, 6-foot side yard variance for an air station, 10-foot side yard variance for a cooler, 10-foot side yard for an ice chest, a 10-foot side yard variance for a propane cage, and a 12-foot maximum lot coverage variance pursuant to the schedule of bulk regulations of the zoning ordinance. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Good evening, Brian.
You're
All
happy,
right.
You're happy to see me.
Yeah. So, we first saw this 2 months ago.
Yep.
You were not here last month. There's a lot going on over here. A lot was done without any permission, okay? We started, said we'd listen and hear it out, sent you back to the planning board because this obviously needs site plan amendment. Where are you at with the planning board?
Went to the planning board. They entertained our application and what we wanted to do. I think the general consensus was that there is a lot going on the site. It is a busy site. But overall, I think we talked about the things that were brought up here at this meeting, which was how do we deal with the parking space in the front as it relates to the air station. And as part of our submission to the planning board, we took into account what was brought up here at this board, and we came up with some signage to limit the parking in front of the air station, the back station, to a couple of minutes.
Okay.
So therefore, it would free itself up. We would still have parking in the back for employees, and there is employee parking off-site too to help alleviate the traffic situation. So that was one of the points too, and the other points were just some protection for the dumpster refuse enclosure, maybe by providing some ballards inside just to make sure that the fencing doesn't get...
For just that or for the propane cage as well?
Propane cages too.
Okay.
So just like safety items.
So do we have a revised site plan?
So we talked about it at the planning board. That was 2 weeks ago. So the submission deadlines kind of overlap.
Okay.
So what we discussed at that planning board meeting will be incorporated into the overall site plan.
Okay, so the next question is, has the planning board circulated, are they wishing to be lead agency?
They did.
So do we have notice, do we have to act on that?
I have it right here, yes.
Okay, so let's start with, do I have a motion from this board to allow the planning board to serve as lead agency for the review of site plan amendment and to cover the environmental review related to the appeal before us?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So the planning board will serve as lead agency. Michael confirmed for me they are going to conduct a public hearing on site plan amendment? Okay, just making sure. All right, so from an administrative perspective, we're going to defer to them for their, well, we're holding a public hearing. Are they relying on our public hearing? No, you just said they're going to have their own public
They'll
hearing.
have their own public hearing.
Okay, so we're not issuing a decision tonight.
There's no determination of significance at this point under secret.
Okay, so all we're doing is starting the public hearing and just listening for comments. Okay.
Just listen.
All right, so site plan has changed, but we don't have a revision to the site plan yet.
And what's changed is, again, it's signage, like we said, for the parking space in front of the vacuum and the air station, and just protection for propane.
Well, the reason I'm asking because I do have a neighbor letter that raises some of the things that we just talked about,
Okay.
so that's why it is important for us to understand that the site plan has, or will be changing. So if you don't mind, let me just read this letter in, and then if there are additional comments. So I have a letter from an Alfred Cardinale who lives at 8 Lake Drive. I'm assuming he is an immediate neighbor based on what he's...
He's in back of the gate.
So he's the immediate neighbor?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So what he's concerned about is number one, location of the propane cage. 2, don't want it close to my property. 3, would like cage to have metal posts surrounding it so that cars cannot crash into it. All right, so he's asking for bollards in essence to protect it. Nobody wants to see an explosion with that, so I totally understand his request for that. So if they're going to be putting bollards around other things, then it would help if this. Okay, so how are we going to deal with the fact that people still are going to park on the street when the station is crowded, or they don't expect that's going to happen if they do these adjustments?
Part of the site plan process was that we do have no parking signs along Lake Drive.
And apparently they don't work well.
They don't work well. That was what we were directed to do by the planning board. I know the applicant does ask people not to park on Lake Drive.
But they do every day.
So we will entertain any other option that the board would like us to do. We can listen to the residents, but as far as enforcement, that's beyond what the applicant can do.
Okay.
But we can provide any signage or...
I mean, this is a somewhat tricky one because technically site plan amendments are subject of the planning board, but really each of these amendments that you're asking for requires approval from the zoning board because they don't meet the requirements of the code. So you're fitting 10 pounds into a 5-pound box. That's part of the problem here. All right. Are there any comments or questions from board members?
No.
Yeah. So let me is there anyone here who wishes to speak for or against the request from Jamie Flory, 1997 Route 52, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 76-foot front yard variance, 3-foot side yard variance for a proposed vacuum station, a 67-foot front yard, 6-foot side yard variance for an air station, 10-foot side yard variance for a cooler, 10-foot side yard variance for an ice chest, a 10-foot side yard variance for a proposed propane cage, and a 12% maximum lot coverage variance. If you don't mind, state your name.
Hi, my name is Bob Falcone. I live at 47 McEwen Terrace. I've been living in the neighborhood for 35 years and have seen a lot of changes in the 35 years. And I don't know how much more traffic you want to put into that corner. As you know, there's almost accidents every week. It's insane over there.
Yeah.
And you have a fire hydrant that's on the corner near the back of the property. And you also have a big dumpster, a garbage dumpster. They don't take care of the property. They don't mow the lawn by the dumpster. They don't take care of it. It's a bad sight to begin with. And why they want to put all this stuff into a little spot. You almost have accidents every day. Everybody's running for their Dunkin' Donuts, and they leave their cars running. They stop around there. I don't understand what this whole neighborhood thing is coming to here. It's insane. And I'm sure that there are police reports with the accidents and the near misses every week. It's crazy. And why do you want to put a vacuum cleaner thing? I don't understand that either. Let people buy a $30 vacuum and vacuum their cars. Why are they going to have to?
Just let me be clear. We don't want it. The applicant has requested it. You keep saying, why do you want it?
I know, they're going to have a referendum on this, so let me keep my mouth shut. I talk too much anyway.
No, not at all. Your comments are, I think we probably said
that
that
I
the first
live
night
there,
we
and my
reviewed it.
grandchildren walk the road because there's no sidewalk.
Right.
Okay? What are you waiting for? Someone to get killed? I mean, the cars, they don't pay attention to the signs. People going in to get gas are coming this way, that way. He knows it. Whoever owns the place, they know it. You know, I don't know. I think it's uncontrollable. And I just can't see why they need a vacuum thing. Is that going to be all night long, that people could come in and vacuum their cars and hang out there and I mean, what are the hours to this? You know, people live there. Their houses. They got $500,000 houses right across the street. I don't understand what this town is doing. I know you're not asking for it, but
Is there a specific?
You're paving over paradise.
I
That's
totally
all I can
understood.
say.
Of the requests that are here, of what's being requested, is there a specific thing that you're most concerned about, or is it really like I mentioned, there's a
Well,
lot
they
going
already
on
have
that
an air
site.
pump. There's an air pump
Right, but
there.
they're looking to move it because people aren't using it in the right way. They're taking it, they're using it out on the street, and they're
That's
not
true.
using it right. So they
That's
want to
true.
put it in a place where it's more functional, correctly functional.
Okay.
All right, so that, to hopefully free up and make the site better.
There's only so many feet that
I
I take.
know.
Come on,
And
you
there's only
guys
so
know.
many parking
You're the
spaces.
town board. You're supposed to know these things. There's only so many feet in back of Dunkin' Donuts. Come on. Look, you know it. There'll be a referendum on this, and then I'll be able to talk. Then.
There will be a public hearing before the planning
Right.
board. That's, yeah.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, it's
You know, it's just, it boggles the mind. You know, the next thing they'll be selling Pelagras in the back, shaved ice in the back of the, you know, come on. Let's get real here, okay?
okay.
All right?
Thank
you
you.
very much. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who wishes to comment? All right, we cannot close the public hearing because the planning board has to do their business. So do I have anything you want to speak to regarding the comments that were just made?
We'll address them as part of our resubmission to the board.
Okay. So do I have a motion to adjourn the public hearing till,
How long would it take you to?
yeah, the planning board hasn't even declared lead agency. We took a motion tonight to allow the planning board to be lead agency. Then they have to hold a public hearing. So if they meet in July to accept lead agency status or declare themselves lead agency, then they'll schedule a public hearing, right? Because they haven't said that. So the public hearing would happen in August. So
2 weeks before us.
2 weeks before us. So technically it could come back to August.
We could do August.
So I make a motion to adjourn it until August.
Okay, to our August meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, item number 3 is not being heard tonight at the request of the applicant. So item number 4, Appeal 4106, Deidre and Clark, 22 Pitcher Road, Hopewell Junction, requesting a lot coverage variance. 12% lot coverage is permitted. They have 20% of the lot covered. A 15% lot variance is needed pursuant to the schedule of bulk regulations. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Oh, so we are open. Okay, so we've had a chance to see Ms. Clark's application, review it last month. This is a home in the Hopewell Glen development where apparently because of the size of the homes and compared to the size of the lots, probably almost every house and lot has a lot coverage issue that was not originally, I guess, evaluated with the site plan approval of this development. You've now done improvements to your lot, which I'm sure improve the value and the aesthetics of the property, and are better for the neighbors to be in terms of what they see. But it does mean that there is, because of your in-ground pool and a patio, et cetera, it does mean that there's additional pervious surface, or impervious surface that we have to worry about. So that's why she's before us. But the house itself put her right all over the limit of the 12%. So we're not going to make her shrink her house, and certainly at this point the improvements are done. So are there any comments or questions from board members?
I'm good.
Is there anyone here who wishes to speak for or against the request from Deidre and Clark, 22 Pitcher Road, Hopewell Junction, requesting a lot coverage variance of an extra 15%? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. This is appeal number 4106. Applicant is Deidre Clark, requesting a 15% lot coverage variance from the requirements of the schedule of bulk regulations. Resolution offered by zoning board member Aziz Hassan, whereas the property is located in Hopewell Glen, where the lots were approved to be smaller because of the infrastructure being built with the development, and whereas 12% lot coverage is permitted, and whereas the applicant's house exceeds the 12% lot coverage and has added an in-ground pool, deck, and patio for a total of 27% lot coverage, which necessitated this variance request, and whereas this is a type 2 action under SECRA and no further review is required, and whereas the legal notice was published in the Southern Dutchess News on June 19, 2024, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on June 25, 2024, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that the granting of the variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the community, as the property will remain residential in nature, the desired result cannot be achieved by some other means due to the size of the property. The variance may be considered substantial, but the improvements improve the aesthetic appeal and usability of the property. The variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental condition. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the request from D.J. Clark for a 15% lot coverage variance from the requirements of the Schedule of Bulk Regulations. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant owner.
Is there a second?
Second.
Votes as follows: Aziz,
Aye.
Alberto,
Aye.
Art,
Aye.
and myself, aye. So your motion carries. You're all set. Matt, is she had to deal with the building department at this point, or she's done?
Because this is an as-built pool and gazebo, it's already there.
So she would get her CO. She's got it.
They'll be
Okay.
able to close that.
Okay.
So come back to go to the town.
Go at some point. Go to the building department. Just unless they're just going to send it to her, or they.
I
She
think
has
we'll
to.
probably just review it, probably
Okay.
send it to you.
Okay. Good.
Thank you.
Have a good night. All right, our last public hearing for the evening, item number 5, Appeal 4107, Michael Negulik, 134 Townsend Road, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 527 square foot variance for a proposed 24 foot by 30 foot or 1,400 square foot two-story detached garage pursuant to section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance and the schedule of bulk regulations. The footprint of the existing house is 1,456 square feet. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, so we did review your application last month. We've determined that the upstairs is going to be 633 square feet, the downstairs 768 square feet, for a total of 1,401 square feet.
Correct.
Okay, so it's not really a full second floor is
No,
really what it
it's-
amounts to.
It was just the only reason like I said, we have so much space downstairs. I moved from a 5,000 square foot
Right.
house to a lot smaller.
Right.
I just don't have.
So the
storage.
second floor is for storage. There's no living space. It's
No.
not going to be heated.
Nope.
The house has a garage.
Correct.
But you said you have 5 cars at another house that
Correct.
you want to bring here. The garage will block neighbors' view of rear yard
Correct.
for
So I
some,
plan
so to
to
give
put-
you some privacy. That's what it
And I
was.
plan to put a pool in the next 2 years.
Okay.
So it's for privacy.
You don't need a variance for that, do you?
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay.
I went through a lot of permits already and stuff, so if I do, it's okay.
Okay.
I'll come back.
The second story,
Yes.
is there going to be a full set of stairs getting up there, or is it really just a pull-down attic stairs?
There's stairs on the side that are going up, but it's just that's just the way that they designed it. I just asked them just to have stairs. They didn't even ask me like how do you want the stairs. They just designed it.
Okay, but they're
So-
outside of the
They're
structure.
inside.
They're inside.
So like if there's a door here, it's going to be like at the back, and then it's going to be going up that way. So it's like inside. It's
Okay,
not
but
outside.
it is a full set of stairs
It
and
is
not
a
pull
full.
down.
It is a full set of stairs, like a regular walking stairs. It's not a pull down.
Okay. All right, because again, the code allows for a 1.5 story second, garage, and you're asking for the 2 full stories. We just have to be sure that
It was under 25 feet though.
Okay,
The-
good.
The actual top unit is 24 feet 7.5 inches.
Okay.
So it is not 25 feet.
We just have to be sure it's not being used for livable residential space.
I understand. That's perfectly fine.
Okay, comments or questions from board members?
I'm
Good.
Is there anyone here who wishes to speak for or against the appeal of Michael Negulik, 134 Townsend Road, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 527 square foot variance for a proposed 24 foot by 30 foot or 1,400 square foot two-story detached garage?
Norma, it'll be 528.
528?
1401,
Oh, got it.
okay?
Yep.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Doug Murray, I'm the neighbor, and this is Sandy, my wife, who also lives there.
Sure.
We're probably the one being referred to. Sure, absolutely. It's too big for the size of the lot. It's crazy. It will look terrible. It will reduce our value.
So too big in what way? The height of it?
Huge. That's as big as their house. It's 50 square feet less than the size of the house. It's as big as my first house, the footprint itself. And if
Okay.
they used to be in the picture of the back of the lot, there's not a lot of lot from the back to the house.
Is this one where we have a new survey? No, okay.
But that's our objections. I mean, we hate to even bring it up, but we didn't want to see the sign go up. So.
Okay, so you are concerned about the size of it?
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's just refresh ourselves here.
I think the lot's like an acre, maybe.
No, it's not. It's
No,
actually-
hold on, they're speaking to us.
Okay.
All right. So say that again, I didn't
I
hear
think
you.
the lot's about an acre, right?
I see it's 2.45 acres,
Okay.
almost 2.5 acres.
Yeah.
So what's behind the back?
Well, I mean, yeah, the back, and theoretically, they're looking for this variances because they are at near a boundary area, but if they move it to another location, they will be within the footprint that's allowed.
Wait,
So-
which one are you looking at?
Recording, yes, yeah.
This one has a pool already, though.
Yeah, and then they have this is the proposed garage.
Yeah, this is the lot.
Correct, and it's 2.5 acres, almost 2.5 acres. This is just the blow.
Oh, okay,
It's
got
a blow-up.
it. C blow, got it. So you have a, oh,
So I had.
I'm confused. Can I
It's
just
okay-
ask you
no,
to step to the
absolutely, yeah,
side?
No, I understand.
So-
Yeah.
I took down the pool.
To back up
Yep.
to the, yeah, go ahead.
So I took down the pool. I'm waiting
So
for.
this is an old survey.
No, that's a new survey. So I came also because I had a pool that was leaking and it was hideous and ugly and my deck was trash. So I got a permit to demo my deck and to demo my pool
Got it.
because I didn't want to fix an above ground pool which was worthless. So I want to put an in ground pool in. So I was using the garage as
So
my.
you're just keeping it here for your future?
No, the pool is gone.
I'm just keeping this survey, showing it on the survey
The
because
survey
you're likely
was
to put
before
it
I,
in this.
yeah, the survey was before I took out the pool. I took
Yeah,
out
the
the pool.
survey is from April 2020.
Correct. I just took it out like last 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So this who put the proposed 24 by 30 garage on it?
That was the person who did my survey. So that was, I didn't have my pool out by then. I had a pool that was
Okay,
there. And
time out. So, because whoever did it didn't update the survey.
It's signed.
It's signed, but it did not say that it has been updated. I mean, there's no notation, legend, any place that, that it was done by a professional. I mean, even though it's signed by a professional, it doesn't show that professional made a,
That they updated it.
That they
All
updated it.
all they did was place a garage on here because you told them this is where you wanted to put a garage.
yeah. Okay, so you're going to go for an in-ground pool,
I'm going to go for an in-ground pool in
Same
the next
location.
year.
But that's not why he's here.
I understand
Yes.
that. So because you said the pool is gone, it's gone temporarily, it's going to...
No, it's permanently gone.
But you're going to have a new pool placed,
My plan is to get my plan is to do an in-ground pool in the next 2 years. I mean, I'm not doing one
same
right now.
location or somewhere else?
Wherever, if I can put it in the same location, then yes. But the reason why we went with the drawing that we did was because the person who did the drawing in the beginning, he said the reason why we're going with that size was because he said if you go any bigger, you're going to have an issue with your pool. And at the time, I didn't know that my pool was leaking. So I didn't know that the liner was gone and I was going to take it out. So what happened was I took the pool out, not because of the garage. I took the pool out because it was just an eyesore. So we're getting rid of the pool. Hopefully this week the dumpster will come. And the reason why I was doing the garage there was because the person who did the plans, she stated that if it was under 768 square feet, or whatever the variance was, I didn't need to come for variance. She did not know that a second floor, even though there's nothing going to be there, that they counted that as square footage.
Right.
We did not know that. If we knew that, I wouldn't have came to the town.
Okay. So you do have garages under your house?
Correct, I do.
1 or 2?
2.
Okay.
But I also have...
24 by 24 is a typical 2-car garage, so the 24 by 30, it looks like you're just making it a little bit deeper to give you an extra 6
Correct.
feet of storage space, so I get that. That's,
Yeah.
Especially if there's going to be stairs going upstairs. So what the neighbor's concern may be because of the height of it would be my guess, is that... So if you don't mind, we'll ask you to sit back down again, and let's just get your neighbors back up here. Are you
We're 132, yeah.
Murray?
Yes,
Okay. So there's a vinyl fence between you.
my fence, correct.
Okay. Well, how tall is that fence?
6 feet.
Okay.
So it's 2 feet back from the line.
Got it. No problem. Is there any, I can see that. Is there any vegetation? Is there any?
I have trees on my side, but I'm not sure what you,
Your house is forward of his house?
to the road, correct.
Yeah, closer to the road. So it would be visible from your backyard, yes.
Yeah, from the deck, absolutely, yeah.
And the trees are on your property?
Correct, more in the back. We have a garden
Okay.
there.
So again, are you more concerned, because since there's already a fence there, are you concerned about the height of it, or just the overall?
It's the aesthetics. I mean, I don't know how to explain it.
I mean, this is clearly smaller than his house. You're saying it's larger than its house. It's not.
No, the square footage is almost as equal to the living space in the house, right?
No, not at all. Because if his first floor alone on his house is 1450, and he's asking for a garage of
1,400.
yeah, so that's just the ground floor is 1,400. So that's not, his house is 2,800 square feet if you double it. I don't know what kind of house he's got, raised level, split level, whatever. So there's definitely a size difference here. He's not asking for an overly large 2-car garage. That's really what he's asking for. The second story is what gives it some additional height. So I'm trying to get out what can we do to mitigate what you're seeing.
It would be nice to see it, I guess. It's hard to imagine, right, without seeing it.
Yeah. Do you have an elevation?
I don't have an elevation photo, but I mean...
That would be great to just see something. Like, maybe it's fine. It's hard to say. Like,
Well, yeah, but is it going to have,
It's going to be...
is it a flat roof line? Is it going to have an arch in the front? Is it going to have...
I have a stock photo of what, like, the lady was going to... that they drew up, but it wasn't like a...
and our only other concern is distance from the property. We're supposed to be 2 feet from our fence, and it should be whatever footage from there.
Yeah.
I'll show you though. So that's essentially what it's going to look like. Like, I put over $100,000 into my house. I'm not trying to say, like...
Is that the color of it as well?
No, it's going to match my house.
Oh, I don't know what your house is. So.
Oh, I mean, I can show you a picture of my house. But...
All right, but do me a favor, before you put it away, if you could show that to your
That'd be
neighbor.
great. That's a sample of it?
Yeah.
Oh, that looks nice.
I mean, I'm not trying to...
I mean, it looks nice, but I'm just concerned, the way our property is situated, it's really what we see. Like, we get, from my kitchen when I cook, I look right out there, which I know privacy is an issue.
Right.
But I'm not looking at that, like, to see, like, a building. I was just very concerned. It's my vegetable garden is right there, the elevation.
Okay.
And the aesthetics of it. And then also the resale value of our home. Like,
Sure.
would people come in and say, oh, they have this property, a chicken coop, a
And you
garage,
charge it,
and this, like all this stuff going on? It's just...
I mean, on the one hand, for you, having this structure there gives you more privacy because
Well, that's the flip
it then
side, yeah.
shields the use of the pool from you. So on the one hand, it's going to be beneficial to you to have that as an intermediate structure between
But I
the
didn't wanna make
activity
sure-
happening in his yard and your yard.
But the concern was I couldn't visualize the height of it.
Right, that's why, again,
Yeah,
it's
so it's
not
hard to-
standard for
It's
it to have,
impossible.
for a garage to have a second story. That's why we're trying to get at what will it look like, so you'll have a better sense. So it appears that from your side, you're gonna see more of a roof line as opposed to seeing that, the front of it with the eave and everything else, so. Less
So we raised concern, that's how.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
But we didn't
Now that you've
understand what it
seen
was. We saw the notice, we wanted to come and
There's
find
no
out.
map we can.
Now that you've seen it, are you less concerned or are you still
Less
concerned?
concerned.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Are you looking for some kind of vegetation between the...
I don't think they can put anything there. Our
Well, they have
fence
for
would-
25 feet.
Yeah, they've got
They have
25 feet.
Yeah,
Well, it's mostly
From the
paving,
fence.
is all. Like,
To the side? No, this front, he's got the driveway in the front, but he's got 25 feet from the corner of the front corner of the garage to your property line, to his property.
I don't think that helps. Yeah, no, it's,
I mean, the only thing you could put up is like pine trees
and
and
then that's a.
they grow fast,
Yeah,
but
nobody wants that.
they can be messy, so,
No, we're good.
okay. Thank you for
We
coming.
appreciate being heard. Thank you.
No, no problem. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak regarding the application of Michael Negulik? Okay. Anything else you want to add based on comments that you just heard? No, that's fine. No problem. So do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Here we go.
Appeal number 4107.
Remember, it's 528 square feet
Yes,
instead of 527.
528.
Thank you.
Applicant Michael Negulik. The project is a 528 square foot size variance request from section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance and schedule of bulk regulations for a proposed 24 by 30, 1,400 square foot, two-story detached garage at 134 Townsend Road, Hopewell Junction. A resolution offered by zoning board member Art Mahoney. Whereas section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance states in part that detached garages must be permanent and not a fabric-covered structure and may in no event exceed 750 square feet or 60% of the square footage of the footprint of the principal structure, whichever is greater in size, and 1.5 stories or 25 feet in height. And whereas the footprint of the existing house is 1,456 square feet, so the maximum permitted size of the detached garage without a variance would be 873 square feet, which is 60% of the 1,456 square feet. And whereas the proposed structure would not contain heating capabilities and the siding of the detached garage would match the siding of the principal structure, and whereas the applicant agreed to provide screening, and whereas the proposed accessory garage would only be for storage and would not contain living space, and whereas this is a type 2 action under SECRA and no further review is required, and whereas the legal notice was published in the Southern Dutchess News on July 19th, 2024, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on June 25th, 2024, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that the granting of the variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the community, as the property will remain residential in nature. The desired result of additional storage at the property cannot be achieved by some other means. The variant could be deemed substantial. The variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions. Now therefore be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the request by Michael Negulik for the 528 square foot size variance request from section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance and schedule of bulk regulations for a proposed 24 by 30, 1,400 square foot, two-story detached garage. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant owner.
Is there a second?
Second.
Votes as follows. Aziz.
Aye.
Alberto?
Aye.
Art?
Aye.
And myself, aye. So motion carries. Now you'll deal with the building department.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. All right, that was it for public hearings. So there's no public comment on any additional applications. At the appropriate time, we'll notice your neighbors for that. So number 6 is Appeal 4105, RAP Management LLC, Ryan Angeletti, 11 Birch Drive, Hopewell Junction, requesting to build on an undersized lot of .922 acres in an R1 zone and a 7-foot front line variance for a proposed dwelling pursuant to Section 194-103 of the zoning ordinance and the schedule of bulk regulations. So last month, we started working with you on your application.
Yes.
What you did was you took the variance that we granted the house next door for a deck and a garage, and you proceeded to bring the whole house forward to make your house bigger. Then we said no. So, or, we said reconsider that. So I understand you've now given us new plans.
Yeah, I gave you new plans of the house. That wasn't my intentions, the first part of that. That wasn't my intention to take the building plans and make it an envelope. I thought that was, I wasn't in the original process of the neighbor's house there, my brother-in-law's.
Right.
So I went off the blueprint or the building envelope of the 31, the size of the house, 31, my brother-in-law's, the overall dimensions is 31 foot 4 inches. I spoke to the architect. We did crunch it to fit even farther into that envelope, and we crunched it down to 30 foot 6 inches, I believe. And I provided you guys with what one of the questions was what the house was going to look like.
So Jackie, this is put together where page 1 goes this way, page 2 goes that way.
Yeah.
Page 3 goes that
She did that on purpose because
page
it's me.
4 goes this way. So I don't know if you put it together or.
It's my fault. It'll be my fault.
No. There was a second set of hands, and I think from what you submitted to one we're getting it.
So a couple of questions were raised that you didn't want to see what the house would look like. So I think I provided you what the outside of the house was going to look like. I do have a photo of a house that would be that is across the street that's existing that would give you a slab on grade. It's exactly the aesthetic look of what our proposed house
So
would look like.
Essentially the front elevation of the house.
So you would get a better idea, and then we did shrink it to another foot and a half. If I keep shrinking it, the way this house is laid out or the design that these people chose.
How many bedrooms is the house next door?
4 bedroom.
4 or 3?
My brother-in-law's?
Yeah.
4.
And
That's
how
on
many
there.
bedrooms is this?
I have those plans. I put those plans in there with you.
Okay. That might be where okay, and this is a 5-bedroom house.
This one is a 4.
I thought when I looked through these.
4. Three.
No, because unless I'm looking at the wrong one.
Yeah, it looks like
This is
3.
Michael O'Halloran. Now I'm looking at the wrong one.
How many do you want it to be? No. It's 3 bedroom.
Michael, can we turn this off? I don't want that noise to keep coming at us. Den, study, living room, foyer. Again, I'm reading it upside down. But bedroom 1, 2, 3, walk-in closet, unfinished storage room. So yours is a 3-bedroom house.
Yes.
All right, that's better than what I was thinking it was.
And I mean, to stay within the footprint, it wasn't done. It wasn't done on purpose to say, oh, you gave me this. We offered the same style house for these people. They requested no front porch and would rather a slab on grade. Not understanding the reasons why you gave Michael the variances for that front porch, I said, well, you'll be well within the building envelope, and it's a little bigger lot size than Michael's. I said, I figured it wouldn't be a problem. So it wasn't done on purpose. I could honestly tell you that,
All right. Comments or questions from board members?
Do you want to see the neighbor's house?
Sure. That would be helpful.
I know last month I was not prepared. I didn't want to be a creep, so I kind of took it from the road. Do you see it?
Yeah, it's hard to see. Let the others see it.
It's just a slab on very small. So there were...
Comments or questions from board members?
I'm good.
Motion to advertise?
Thank you.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We will see you next month.
Okay. Sign on the front, right? I got to put the sign on the front.
Yes, you have to put the sign in the front.
I have a sign. I do. I spent
Well, you
probably $100 in signs. I figured I could just...
He probably used the one right next door.
I could just...
He says the one right next door.
I'm going to put...
All right, item number 7, as I mentioned right at the beginning, is not going to be heard this evening. So we're going right to item number 8. Appeal 4110, Sachin Sakri. I don't want to say your name wrong, but...
Sachin Sakri.
Sakri? Okay, thank you. 39 Shepherd's Way, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 9-foot rear line variance for a proposed gazebo pursuant to section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance and the schedule of bulk regulations. I think we've met.
Probably.
I think we met on the rail trail one day.
Yeah.
When I was with one of your neighbors. Okay, so tell us what you're proposing to do.
So a couple of years ago, all by the book, we put in a pool with a patio. It's all fenced in, and in the spirit of trying to make it as enjoyable for me and my family, we would like to put in a covered gazebo with a kitchen and some electric and kind of sink. And that's what we're trying to do. And it's abutting. I didn't know it at the time, obviously, but when the paperwork went in for a building permit, I believe that's when Rob, the building gentleman, saw that it was when our contractor was drawing up the plans. It showed, I believe, we needed a 50-foot buffer from our neighbor towards the back, and we were not in that buffer. So that's what was called out when we filed for the permit.
Okay. You're on Shepherd's Way.
Yeah.
You got the cul-de-sac at the end.
Correct.
It appears you're on the left side of it.
If you
So
go
what's
up,
behind you?
it's-
So the right is going to be the word with
so if you're looking at my house, it's a huge elevation, right? It's
Right, there's a
it's
hill,
a big
yeah.
hill, and we have a big hill. To the right are neighbors in there that won't affect them at all. To my left, doesn't affect them at all. It's immediately to the back, and I don't know if I should
That's
say.
what I'm saying. What's behind you?
It's my neighbor's. His driveway goes all the way to 376.
14-acre parcel.
Very narrow.
Is this one that we've seen
Yes.
before because he proposed a pool, or he had a pool in his front yard?
No.
He was on the turn
No.
contract. It was a
Different one.
contractor.
He is
No?
he
Okay.
is a
Oh,
contractor.
I think it is. I think it's one we've been. I've been back there.
Yeah, it was maybe before me. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But
I've been
you
back
can't
there.
even see his yard
Yeah, you
because
can't see it.
from I have
Can
pictures.
he see what you're proposing? Is the
I
question.
doubt it highly.
Okay.
Because we have a retaining wall.
Because
and
he's
then
not really, while he's your adjacent property owner, he's not really your neighbor because he's
Well,
off
he's
of
behind me.
376 there.
Well, yeah, but it's a very narrow strip that
Right.
you
No,
have.
I know the property. I
Yeah,
had
it
to go
goes
in there
way
for a reason.
back past the power lines.
Yeah.
His property.
Okay.
So that is,
So he would be the most impacted,
he is
But
the
he
only
won't
one
even see it.
impacted.
but the likelihood of that. Okay. Comments or questions from board
and my
members?
neighbors to the left and to the right, I've already discussed it with them. They have no issues.
Comments or questions from board members?
The jungle gym, is that a fixed structure? Does it need any variance for that?
Does your place set, can it get moved or is it?
The place set all the way to the right.
That's to the right.
Yeah.
That's nowhere near the. That's
Yeah, it's
outside
nowhere
the
near
fence.
the back property line.
What do you see?
I mean, the jungle gym. Looking at the jungle, is that a structure?
I don't even
is it
have
fixed?
that online.
That was just given to me.
That
There's
was
a new one.
That's a new
hold
one.
on.
Yep.
No, this is Sunset.
No, that's sunset.
Hold on. There's too many papers given to us at the Now I have it.
A lot of
yeah,
money,
he's-
a lot
he's
of money
within the building
to
envelope.
spend
He's
to
okay
get
on
this
that.
survey done.
Oh, but it's in the front yard of the house. Is that what you're getting at?
I mean, I don't know, if that's an issue, if he needs a variance, it's a kid's thing.
I have no front yard, for the record. My front yard slopes significantly down
Right.
to the circle.
When you drive in Shepherd's Way, the houses on the left are up.
And so that is
Definitely
the
uphill.
only area where my kids can play.
I see his easiest point. Why don't you just advertise for being in the front yard? If it's already there, it doesn't mean that it has to be removed.
Right, and there's a significant tree line
Right.
there, so. and I've been
It
on
meets all the
Shepherd's Way,
setbacks,
so
yeah.
it hasn't caught my attention, and it's in your front yard,
Yeah.
so.
You
I
can't.
haven't
Yeah,
seen
see it from
then
down below.
No.
I mean, you're.
let's advertise for it.
Yeah, so
Good catch.
we're going to amend your application, or you're going to propose to amend it to include a variance for the jungle gym, that's
To
basically.
be located in the front yard as identified on this map provided with the application. So it does not move, okay?
Stays there, you get a
And-
variance.
And a jungle gym generally only stays while his children are little, so it's not likely to be there forever anyway.
I'll burn the thing down myself if it requires.
Okay, motion to advertise.
Thank
as
you.
amended.
So moved.
All in favor? We will see you next month.
Thank you.
Jackie will give you your information because you got to put a sign up, please, for your neighbors.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Have a good night.
You
In the
too,
next couple days, okay?
and Jungle Gym. All right, item number 9, Appeal 4111, Brian Cotcamp, 15 Carpenter Road, Hopewell Junction, requesting a front yard variance for a proposed 12-foot by 16-foot or 192-square-foot shed pursuant to Section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance and the schedule of bulk regulations.
Somebody take the pen?
Good evening.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So just so I'm clear, did you cut down a lot of trees last year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
those
right.
are all dead ash trees that were
Yeah, it was.
getting ready to fall, and I got a pile of them sitting around.
That's fine. I just walked by there and I was wondering if I was
Yeah, that's
figuring out
it.
which house it was the right, if it
That's
was the
it.
right one or not. Okay. And your neighbor did an addition, a garage to his property?
Yeah,
and-
you probably got a variance, I would assume on that. No?
So, okay, so you are proposing just to put a shed, and because of the depth of your, I can't even see your house.
Right, so far back, and
Yeah,
the
it's so far back.
topography as well, it's
And
really
you've
steep.
got the creek behind you, so.
Correct. There's nobody back
Down a
there.
bit, so
Right.
even if you're way back, you can't even see those houses from
And if I
Beacon Road.
did put it behind my front line on the left side, the neighbor would be staring at it.
It'd be
So
more
this is-
impactful if it was complying with code.
Yes,
Okay.
200 feet from the,
Very
From the
seriously,
road.
folks, you cannot, you can,
right, barely see
can't
the
see this
house.
house. You can barely see the house, and
Right.
I walk by it, and so I'm taking more time than somebody driving by, and
Yes,
no. So,
and it's behind the front line of both
And the
adjacent.
in-ground pool and all that have the variances needed?
Yes, they've been sealed in
Okay,
since,
as long as they've got the variances?
yes.
Okay, motion to advertise.
hold on one second, let's just make sure. Fault protection issue?
Yeah, I have a deck that's being built, and I have a
Okay.
French door, and the building inspector wasn't aware that I had it doweled on the inside and screwed
Oh, okay,
in, so he couldn't open the door.
got it.
So I would say on the pool, because he does have a CC or whatever, but.
It was
if
probably
it's-
before the code
If
changed
it's
to require.
18.9, you'd want to advertise for that?
Well, it was probably done when the requirement for pools were
Already has
15
a
feet.
CC,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It already has a CC.
So it was probably done in compliance with the code at the time that it was done.
Right.
Other options on site, Matt?
Pardon?
You have a note here on your report about other options on site?
Yeah, well, like they said, if they put it somewhere else,
It's
it's going
more
to be more
impactful to the neighbor.
impactful to the neighbor.
Just
so-
want to be sure that we cover everything here.
Yeah.
All right, motion to advertise?
Motion to advertise.
Second? All in favor? Jackie will give you your information about your sign, and we'll see you next month.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Yep, take care. All right, next, appeal number 10, 4112, Michael Molinelli, 8 Sunflower Court, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 13-foot sideline variance for a proposed 28-foot by 28 or 780-square-foot, 1.5-story detached garage pursuant to the schedule of bulk regulations. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
So, So why are you here?
For a side yard variance?
Yeah, I know.
Detached garage.
Okay, so what you're proposing is just too close to the property line. It's one of those days.
So the proposed location, obviously, that side of the property is where the driveway is. So we felt that it would match the existing house by just driving straight up the driveway to the garage. And then we do have a gas line that's in the back that goes from the house to the pool equipment. And we do have a pool and there's a shed, so really is the only place to...
And the pool is?
The pool's not shown. The surveyor didn't pick up the edge of the pool. They just picked up the fencing.
Oh, okay, all right. But it's in the middle of your yard, so it's...
It is.
And I do have a CF.
That's important, thank you very much. So again, you probably heard me say earlier, a typical two-car garage is 24 feet by 24 feet. You're proposing 28 feet by 28 feet, so I get it. You're just adding a little bit of storage. You probably want a work table or something along the side of it. That's what you're asking for?
Correct. And the size falls within the square footage allowed with the primary residence.
Yeah, that's...
We do have some windows on the second story. It's not really a second
The
story.
half story?
It's a half
What
story.
is it?
It's just going to be storage. Those are going to be attic trusses. So there'll be like an 8-foot by 8-foot area to store things. And we do have a pull downstairs, so it's not accessed by a real stair.
Not living space?
Not
It's not
living
going to be
space.
heated?
Not going to be heated.
Okay.
Again, it's just accessed by a pull down stair.
But no one else in my house.
The pull down stair is
Right
on
now.
the floor plan there too.
Not ever. Never up for in-laws.
Squaring it off.
Huh?
They're just squaring it off on both sides. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
There's a lot of greenery on the one
What's
side.
on your side, this side of your yard? How close is your neighbor's house? You know,
It's
have you
their-
talked with your
It's
neighbor
their
about
rear
it?
yard, so they're a corner lot. So it's their rear yard, so they're even further away and there is a natural
Okay.
buffer there.
Have you spoken with them?
I'd never seen them.
Never seen, okay.
But I spoke to the people on the other side, and the people
But
across
you'd be
the street.
surprised when people decide to come out.
Nah, they're nice people.
Okay.
There's a lot of greenery, trees.
And it's going to look like your house?
Yeah.
My wife
Color,
will have it
same-
no other way.
Yeah, there is some stone veneer on the house, and the siding will match roofing.
I mean, it looks like very nice, you know, the whole thing looks nicely done, so. Motion to advertise, Aziz?
Motion to advertise.
Second.
All in favor? All right, we'll see you next month. Jackie will give you information about your sign.
I'm back. Okay, no problem. All right. Awesome.
Any concerns on your part?
Thank you.
Any of the
No, I'm
boards?
gonna call him tomorrow.
Okay.
He's just we've got 3 accessory structures. I think they're gonna stay, right? The sheds are
No,
gonna stay?
sheds,
The sheds are both going, or just one?
the one that's on the side there, this
But
guy
the
right here.
It shows that it's
If they-
proposed to be
we're showing the
relocated.
Yeah, we're gonna, relocate it.
So you're gonna keep it though?
Yeah, we're gonna keep it just relocated.
And then the one on the far side behind the pool, are you keeping that?
Yeah,
Okay, so we got to permit at least one of them.
Okay.
If you got 2, you got to permit one of them.
all right, no problem.
So do we need
It would
to
just
amend?
permit the one that
No,
we're
because
moving.
it doesn't need a variance,
Yeah.
it just needs a
Yeah.
permit.
Yeah.
But right now, that existing shed doesn't meet the setback requirement for the
right.
shed, so that's part of the reason for moving it. We're going to move it.
But you
so
are
that-
going to move it.
Yeah.
We are going to move it.
They're going to move it,
to-
but we still got to permit it because he intends to
Right,
keep
because he's
it.
got 2. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep, appeal number 114113, Lorraine Messina, 8 Angela Court, Hopewell Junction, requesting a front yard and a 1-foot side yard variance for an existing 6-foot fence pursuant to section 194-98 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Oh, here you go, Jack.
So the fence is in, and it's 1 foot closer than it was supposed to be? What's the issue here?
Well, we moved up from North Carolina. We were down there for 7 years.
Okay.
And we bought the house in March. We closed. and we put a permit in for a interior fence, 5-foot aluminum for the dog, to keep the dog in.
Yeah.
When the inspector came out to look at that, he noticed that the vinyl fences that have been there since the year 2000 are on the left side, it's on the property line. On the right side, it's 1 foot in.
Okay.
So there's 6-foot vinyl fencing.
So did you put this fencing in or no?
No, I
It's
mean,
been there for 24 years.
we did our due diligence, we had legal representation. I mean, I actually pulled my attorney out at the closing because we paid for a survey.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I said, hey, I used to live in Dutchess about 35 years ago, and I know there's some way it has to be inside.
Right.
And he says, oh, you're going to stop it. Look, he
Don't screw up
told me
your
just
closing.
let it go, you know, and here we are. So
Okay.
we'd like to get the variance because it does offer privacy.
All
I
right,
mean,
the fence was put in 24 years ago. What condition is it in?
we had a power
It's
wash, this gentleman was out there, it's in
Okay.
great condition.
So there's no reason to take it down. Your neighbors haven't objected to it
I
previously.
spoke to the neighbor on the left, he has no issue. The neighbors on the right, I understand, had some family, very bad thing happen in the family. I didn't want to disturb them.
Okay.
So I just figured let's
Motion to
advertise
advertise?
it.
Motion to advertise.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll see you next month.
All
Jackie
right.
will give you your information about your sign.
There you go.
We don't mind. All right.
Number 12, Appeal 4114, Stephen Reinecke and Eric Gabbard. I don't want to say your names wrong, sorry. 94 Milltown Road Homes, requesting a 22-foot side yard variance for an existing hot tub pursuant to Section 194-95 of the zoning ordinance and the schedule of bulk regulations. So the first question is, who put the hot tub in?
We put the hot tub in.
You did, okay.
We naively put the hot tub in without knowing what we needed to do.
Okay. So, it's very far from our neighbors and hidden by heavily wooded areas. Okay, good. Well, how long has it been in?
4 or 5 years.
Oh, a couple of years
We
now.
bought
Okay,
the
so-
hot
and
tub in
nobody's
18.
objected to it.
No. And we didn't know that we needed a permit for it until we got a new boiler this spring and realized we needed a permit for the boiler.
Okay.
And that's how this started.
Okay.
You have a pool house that has been sealed, I mean, there's a pool house.
It was built prior to
Yeah,
zoning or prior to needing a permit.
Okay.
The pool house is pre-existing.
So that pre-existing.
Yeah, predates zoning.
So we should just clean
Yes. Oh, I don't
it
think-
up and,
So you have a shed, you have two
yeah, you got
sheds.
a bunch of little things going
So
on.
one of the sheds, Aziz, is a wood pile, like a wood lean-to type structure. So you shouldn't count that one, that's closest to the front. So don't count that one. You'll see it in the pictures I gave you.
Okay. And the barbecue, is it a pit or is it a barbecue?
Barbecue is in the front, right? Yeah, that's out by the driveway.
Right.
That's okay.
Okay.
It's just a concrete pit.
Okay, so the spa, I mean, the spa is the hot tub that we
Right.
are here for.
You
Yeah,
have a
that's 8 feet off the property.
6.25 acre property, and you put the spa too close to the property line. You got all these acres to work with.
Well,
What's
yeah.
going on with the rest of it? Is it wooded? Is your
It
property?
is heavily wooded.
Okay, all right.
Yes. Actually, when we had the survey done to get the variance, there's more than 3 acres of land that I've never stepped on because I thought the line ended at this rock wall.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot of property that we didn't even know we had. But it's
Okay.
all wooded.
The flagstone is what?
Little patio?
Little patios.
Okay.
I took some photos. It's
Okay, the
beautiful,
well house-
beautiful
well house-
location.
The
Yeah.
well house is just a covered structure? or just-
Yep. But we gotta clean up the shed that's in the front.
Okay.
That one we have to
There's a
talk
shed.
about.
Aziz.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Heavily wooded area.
Yeah,
Heavily
they didn't put
wooded.
the shed there. That was built before they bought the property too.
So it's just the spa there.
That's the spot.
Motion to advertise on this.
Yeah, you have a nice spot. Holy cow.
Oh, and the view of if you know where this is, it's right near the lake. across the street. There's the lake on Mill Pond, so it's right near the lake.
Okay, motion to advertise.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank
you.
Sometimes I think Aziz is running the meeting. No, I'm reading Matt's report. Because it's a separate thing here, so. All right. And
I'm sorry you were last.
last but not
He
least.
gave the 2 meetings for us.
Oh, you weren't here at the end of the last meeting. Okay. All right. Number 13, Appeal 4115. George?
Yes.
Okay. Pacheco?
Yes.
Or that's why I was saying it. Or Jorge or
I go by George.
George. Okay. 71 Van Black Road, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 13-foot side yard variance for an existing chicken coop, 18-foot rear yard variance for an existing greenhouse, and a 20-foot rear yard variance for an existing pergola pursuant to Section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance and the Schedule of Bulk Regulations. So you've got a lot going on your property. Why? Are these things that you've put up, or were they there when you bought the house? What's going on here?
The greenhouse was there when I bought the house.
Okay.
It was there since 1976, I believe. The pergola is a little thing that I wanted to have grapes. And the chicken coop, I just put it next to my garage. I did like a little cover so the animals don't take the chickens. Yeah, so I didn't know I needed the permits for the pergola.
How many acres do you have?
Well, 1 acre.
So he's allowed a couple chickens.
Yeah.
I'm making sure the
5.
public knows that
Yeah.
because you have
Yeah.
1 acre,
Yep.
you're now allowed a couple
You're
chickens.
now allowed, yeah.
All right.
Point,
So
what was that, 1 chicken for 0.2 acres?
yeah, I think you're allowed
Yes.
like 5 per acre or something for the first
5
acre.
per acre.
Something like
0.2.
that. Anyway.
Jackie's got a special calculator.
That was a side note, just for education purposes. So the greenhouse you didn't build, the chicken coop you did,
Yes.
but it's right next to your house.
It's next to the garage. It's attached
Next
to
to
the
the
garage.
garage. Okay.
I provided the
And
survey.
and a 20-foot rear yard for the existing pergola. How big is the pergola?
Like I can reach.
You can touch both sides of it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I just wanted grapes.
Okay.
And you have these bridges, are they just
Oh, this is what, we needed to ask,
Yeah, we
where do
needed
these
to
bridges
ask about
go
the-
to?
I haven't been out there to see the bridge.
Your survey identifies 2 bridges.
There.
Where do the bridges go to?
Nowhere. It just to cross from one side to the other, so I don't have to jump.
What are you jumping, though?
There's this little. So they have this because it's wetland. So they build like kind of like something to drain the water. So it's like a trench.
Okay. Who put the bridges in?
I did.
Is this DEC wetland, did we determine?
It is wetland.
It is
It's
wetland.
in the floodplain. He's not in the wetlands. He's just in the floodplain.
So the grapevine pergola as well?
Yeah. Pretty much, I mean,
all of
Norma, you see that?
Yeah.
From the back of the house?
Yeah, from the back of
Yeah.
the house.
Yeah. So, he's,
From the back of the garage, at least, right?
well, it's in front of the garage and then back all the way to the back.
Oh, okay, I'm seeing,
But
that's
he's
not a
not-
structure, the
Yeah,
garage
that's a
itself
garage.
is in the
Yeah.
back, is in the,
But the garage may have been built when it wasn't in the floodplain.
Right.
This is just currently, but he's not in a wetland, but it's in a floodplain. You know what I'll
That's
do?
better,
Michelle
but-
said she would look at it
Yeah.
with me, and maybe Michelle and I can drive out. She's in Thursday and Friday. Thursday, yeah.
because we're concerned about why bridges are in a floodplain, that's what we have to worry about.
Trees fell on top of my house and cut it down. I didn't know what to do with it.
Okay.
I just built something with it.
Because did we determine bridges are structures, or bridges are what? They require the ground.
We haven't crossed that bridge yet.
Oh, you're so funny, Michael.
Structure is anything that has to be assembled. Yeah.
We can take a look at the definition too.
I think it's a structure when you look at
It
it.
requires the ground, so it's a structure, yes. But
Yeah.
we'll look at it, yeah.
I guess I mean, if you're gonna get some pictures or
Yeah,
something,
Michelle and I will look at it on
look at it, and
Thursday.
then maybe we will have a better way of advertising it? Because right now I just don't want to advertise all this stuff and then
miss something.
And then miss
Well,
something.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so.
I'm with you.
The survey that you provided us is,
Yeah, I just redid it because.
you just redid it?
April 24.
Especially because it's their second meeting, you could always advertise and say that they need variances for the footbridges as well. And then if they end up not needing them, they'll just get pulled.
Oh, okay, so we should be advertising for the 2 bridges?
What are we advertising for, though?
Not the bridges yet.
We don't even know.
The setback issue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Read the setback.
Setback for
It does-
structures on the property.
So it
But
doesn't mean.
does one bridge, isn't that in the corner of the, are there 2 bridges or 1 bridge? It says 2, and it looks like it's right in the corner of the property.
Yeah, it's in the corner of the property, and the other one is,
Behind the garage.
yeah, behind the
Why
garage.
do you need the second bridge?
So I can,
So
when I go
that's-
running in my yard, so I can just go corner to corner, cross it to the other side, get to my flower garden, and then just run back. When I go like,
But it appears to me that other bridge, if you go anywhere outside of that, you're going on somebody else's property.
no, everything is on my property.
Because you do have a fence.
Yes, so I just jump back to my property. I don't have a picture. Let me.
I mean, it's,
They're all within the boundary of the fence
Yeah.
in the back.
All of them.
It's just a setback issue.
It's just a setback issue, I think. But to your point,
Well, or why are they there?
Just the one.
Both.
the one in the, yeah, both.
Both will
would
have
be
a
too
setback
close
issue.
to the-
Ah, okay.
do you think your architect may have, or whoever did this survey, may have the measurement where the bridges end and your property line is? Can they calculate that for us?
It's right in the. I mean, I didn't measure it.
No.
No, but whoever prepared your survey should have given us the measurements for the bridge, how close they are.
One is right on the property line,
Right.
the corner. The other one is like probably 4 feet or less.
But what I'm saying is, they already took the measurements because they put it on here. They just need to put the measurements on the survey. It shouldn't cost you anything to do that.
Okay.
What you need to do is just call them and say, listen, I was before the board, and the board said they need the measurements here of the 2 bridges. Can you give me a survey that shows those 2
You
measurements?
could advertise them both as 100% setbacks. Because one is so close. It would only be a little bit less, so it's a little bit less than that.
But what do we know about the condition of them? How safe are they?
Well, but I mean, isn't that why, this is just for advertising, they don't necessarily have to stay. It's just that
Well, that's it. Are we sure we want them to stay?
Well, but if you advertise them, you could always say
You could always say in the end
that we're going to take them down.
Okay.
Except, I'll get
I
eyes
don't
on
want
them.
to set a precedent that we're
Thursday.
allowing people to put bridges on their property.
Oh, yeah, I think it's just.
It's
just
much
for
less in
advertising
floodplains without any kind of permits.
I was just talking about it, yeah, it's obviously up to the board, but if the board wanted to move forward just to the public hearing step, you could advertise them that way.
Do we have enough information to go forward? Are you comfortable?
I mean, he's going to provide the survey, and again, we will have the measurements, but again, if we advertise, then we can always deny him. We can have a partial.
I don't want to take him down with him thinking we're going to move something forward if we have concerns. He's in a floodplain. He's got,
He's bringing 3 issues already to the board.
The corner one.
He is bringing 3 issues to the board. We are adding 2 more issues. We can give him, we can discuss the 3 issues and
The building department still has to evaluate this for a floodplain development permit, right?
Yes.
Yes.
What are they going to be concerned about and looking at?
Rick will be concerned about making sure that they can be anchored.
I think this is almost premature. I almost want Rick to take a look at this to make sure, before we say something can be there, I want him to make sure that he says this is.
He told me to anchor everything down, which I did.
He told you what?
To anchor everything down.
Yeah.
That's what Rick's always concerned about. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the thing over the garden, the pergola, had concrete. It goes into the ground on 2 corners.
The greenhouse has concrete that goes down in all of 4 corners.
All 4 corners. So Rick was comfortable with that. Everything else, he's anchored. The chicken coop and the pergola, he's anchored it
Okay,
down.
so Rick has already reviewed this.
Well, yeah. I don't know if he's been out there. Do you know if Rick went out?
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
if they come in.
All
they go
right,
in.
but he hasn't issued a permit yet because he's waiting for our action now.
Correct.
All right, it's going to be, wish comes first.
But it's
All right.
going to be, you know, but
Okay, so as long
ideally,
as
he's
Rick
going
has
to be
looked at
concerned
this
about
and has
anchoring
offered
it.
his comments, then I'm
Yeah.
okay moving this forward.
And if worst
Assuming
case
you can get
scenario-
us the measurements.
Yeah, worst case scenario, if I have to take them down, like you said, it is what it is. It's not allowed, so I'll take it down. I'm just trying to find a picture of when I anchored them down because I
So now
know.
we're gonna have our staff look at it, and you're gonna.
Yeah, I'll be out there Thursday.
Correct,
Michelle.
so we'll get the.
You'll be in my house on Thursday?
Yeah,
So
Michelle and
again,
I will come out
so
Thursday.
we're going to advertise for,
Do I need to be there?
No.
it'll be all
Yeah.
outside, so we're going to advertise for like,
I don't mind.
As
Just
long as
I
you don't
want-
mind. And you don't leave any animals or anything else for the...
I'll make sure not to leave the dogs out. But I would love to be there because if you guys think of something that I can do better, I'd love to hear it so you like we can have communication at that time because you know then having another meeting and you know I can understand what's going on.
Well, I'm just going to be going out to take pictures for the zoning board.
Oh, okay.
And for them to be able to see what
Right,
it looks
what-
like.
what are we talking
And
about?
also just to make sure that they're structurally sound.
Okay.
And they can be anchored.
And even if you're not there during the visit, you can always speak to Matt after his visit, and you can discuss what you found.
All right?
okay, so we're going to advertise for 5 variances, basically, the 2, and the 3 that the applicant has proposed, plus the 2 bridges for sideline variance. And then the measurements, how soon can you get the measurements? Or I guess you're going to do it at the maximum?
Yeah, 100% variance.
100% variance.
Really?
I don't
Yeah.
know. If it's for I'm not saying they're going to be granted, just
Yeah.
if the board wants to go forward with advertising.
Why do we need bridges over in a floodplain?
Put the measurement on there.
Okay.
To the bridges.
Okay, perfect.
I mean,
Like the
it's okay,
way-
so,
In case it floods.
Just the distance from the.
I mean, we can always,
I mean, this is
There's none.
side.
One.
One's done, and whatever.
Yeah, it's a floodplain. Nothing belongs in a floodplain.
1 feet.
Guys, come
One
on.
is none, and he
I mean,
said
it
the
is
other's
a-
about 4 feet. so
I can
thank
see
you.
a-
Yeah.
But the-
It's for his personal use for running, you know, for run around his yard. I get
Yeah,
that,
none,
but
it's none to the rear and none to
I
the
don't know if
side.
it is or
No.
I just don't want us setting a precedent.
But again, do your bridges have are they just bridge or do they have railing around it?
I put railing
See?
to make it look nice. And I have it like my flower garden. I have it like with branches, so it looks like rustic and everything. It's just for the purpose of having a nice backyard that I can run around, and the dogs can run around too.
And so what is underneath the bridge? Just
Just water. It's not even. It's just this much deep
All year round, or is it just,
all year round. When the foliage, when leaves fall, it gets, you know, you can see basically it does go like this. I mean, there's mud in there, but you know I don't go in there.
so there's a trench that you have made a bridge over.
Correct. The trench is probably not even 4 feet long. I mean wide.
is
Probably
it a
about-
swale? Is it a drainage?
It's a drainage
It's
trench.
drainage trench because
So it's not a stream?
no, it's not a stream. No,
Okay.
no.
Yeah, because it starts right behind the garage.
Right.
So if it was like a natural spring, I can understand that you got water going. But if it is just
No water running. I
Does
don't-
it go right through the backyard too? Like behind the, does it go right through here? too? This one?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one goes all the way, and I guess what the prior owner did that, so the water sinks to the back. Because when I stepped on it, I kind of went a little bit deep when rainy season.
You sank.
Yeah, you sank, so now
Yeah.
it's all nice and neat with that there.
Yeah.
It helps out.
Yeah.
So it directs the water into this
Into the
channel?
back.
Yes.
and does it in this particular trench goes into your neighbor's property?
No, well, it continues to go, but I don't clean their side because I can't. I can trespass, but yes, it goes like before. As soon as I moved in, I walked all the way towards the back before I put in the fence, and it goes like way back.
And who's in the? There's a neighbor up there on whose property this trench goes through.
Well, it goes to the neighbor that is in my back
Okay.
of the house. Yeah, but that's all considered, you call it not wetland, you call it
Floodplain.
floodplain. So he
So
doesn't
it's
have
supposed to be
anything.
there. It's supposed to, we want to direct the water into a floodplain. All right, motion to advertise?
Motion to advertise with these 5 items. I mean, we'll make a final decision next week.
It's going to be a good one.
Perfect.
I motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Maybe there's no second. All in favor?
Aye.
We'll see you next month.
Thank you.
But Matt will see you next, or Thursday. Motion to adjourn.
Yeah, you can be at work. You don't
Or
have to.
second?
Perfect.
Thank you.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everyone.